What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to What Remains of Edith Finch. We are quickly learning that this entire family might actually seriously be cursed. They've gone through a lot. We just saw the deaths of Calvin, Barbara, Walter, and Sam in the last episode. Sam's death, oh, that one hurt me so much. Edith is pregnant, by the way. We learned that last time. There's a lot of secrets to this old house.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Gregory's room. Gregory, Dawn, and Gus. What is with these?
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
There's a poem for Gus. And Gregory. Divorce contract. A divorce has been filed against you. You have 20 calendar days after the summons is served on you to file a written response.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
This is funny. Woo!
Talking's over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
Pop the bubbles!
I wonder what he saw.
Hey!
What his world was like.
Duckies! He must have died at a young age.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I wish he could have told us
Oh.
about the world he saw.
Oh, no.
There's so much I don't understand.
Oh. The poor baby drowned.
Gregory. About everything.
Oh, no. Poor baby. Pull the
But I
plug.
know
Save
what
the
happened
baby.
wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy.
But this was on
Good luck,
divorce
Kay.
filings.
Love, Sam.
Oh, wow. He drowned in the bathroom. That's why his name is on the bathroom door. Oh. That's why his name was on the bathroom door. Oh. They each were given lockers. Emergency evacuation plan for the house. Now, what do we got to say here about Gus?
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
Hey.
I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that
I now pronounce you husband and wife. Make him cry.
Can't crash the kite into the wedding procession. Is he the reason why this fell?
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Alright. Gus was very much
Wind
the rebel.
picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Now it's starting to rain. Oh, is he going to get struck by lightning? Oh. Oh, what the heck?
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made.
Oh.
Thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
He was so determined. Oh. The tent.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I
Got
didn't,
killed by the tent.
until we found you.
Wow.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
I guess she bears resemblance to her late uncle. Oh, this door is caulked shut. I can't look through that view hole. We got ourselves a little
My
rock
mom
wall.
moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Oh, that's why that bed is empty and she's up here instead. Dawn and Sanjay.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Oh, cool. She's multiracial. I like that.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
She probably blamed herself for her dad's death, shooting that deer. Okay, we go outside.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later.
Looks like there used to be stairs there.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again.
Dawn didn't grow anything, did she? Lewis grew herbs. Milton stacked pots and painted them. And Edith grew plants.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
Oh, we're starting to get into new territory.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Did they... Except they were Lewis rules. Except they were teaching family history.
But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
When Edie gave him a castle.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
He disappeared at 10. These were the sort of paintings he was making at 10? This kid was talented. Castle door. Follow the footprints. This was a very talented kid. Milton Finch and the Magic Paintbrush. This is a flip book. Him painting the door. Is it suggesting that he simply stepped through the door? Her brother, Milton.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
He was very gifted. A very gifted kid.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
Wouldn't it be something if it turned out that I really could just walk through this painting?
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
What I want to know is, where is Edith's room? Edith Jr., where's her room?
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After
would
he
Lewis
graduated,
blame
he just
himself?
spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Lewis. Take a look at Lewis's room.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
Exit. We got a staircase here. We got a little ledge over here. Let's explore a little bit. Oh! His room's like a boat. It's actually literally a boat. He had a
Lewis's
hookah.
room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
He had video games. He smoked hookah, bottle opener. Wonderland Turbo. Kind of looks like a PlayStation mixed with a Super Nintendo. So they'll use that symphony music, bum 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 ba da ba da, and then they use the Halloween music, the Michael Myers music. You gotta watch all the episodes. I don't that video may get a copyright strike. I hope not, but I'm gonna put it up as is.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
Okay.
He kept working at the cannery. But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to...
Oh.
wander.
Oh.
I asked him to describe it.
I'm controlling a
He
character.
said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
Whoa, dragon!
And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
Wow.
But he found something more.
Wow, this
I
is
worried
getting
about
elaborate.
him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused.
He worked himself to that. He
Like a
withdrew
whole
into his
new
head
Lewis.
and worked himself to that.
So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first.
His daydreams are growing so big.
He told me he'd made a new friend.
Oh no.
On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up
This is
slowly, brick
incredibly
by brick.
fascinating.
Then he made musicians.
Here's the thing. Just because he's productive doesn't necessarily mean this is healthy. He's disassociating.
And songs for them to
I
play.
think we can all identify with that. When the real world is so monotonous and
He talked about
dull.
starting a band. And he
That
was
you
always humming
disassociate.
something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet,
weren't real.
were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won.
Of course he did. It's his imagination.
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Still chopping fish. Still chopping fish?
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville.
Missed.
St. Louis.
St. Louis, Missouri?
He started drifting away from our reality.
Basically, he had some psychological disorders and it was encouraged
Minneapolis.
because it made him an ideal worker.
Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on.
He literally worked himself to death, becoming lost in his imagination.
In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a
Handsome queen.
handsome queen.
Oh.
The queen was on her own quest for
Radiant rainbows. I'm building a story now.
radiant rainbows.
Where did that already cut fish came from? Oops. Don't break the rainbows. Don't break the
He
rainbows.
followed the sound of her
No, we're gonna give her an electric sitar.
electric sitar.
The sitar, I believe, was, oh, come on.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon.
East of the sun and west of the moon. Okay.
Even then, his logic remained sound.
Oh,
He
wow.
knew the world was all in his imagination.
But at that point, this world was just easier for him. than the real
But he
world.
was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
He was a lord. A god.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Louis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
What's going on now? All of a sudden...
He
he
began
loved
to
his video
forget the
games.
world we know. I think it pained him to remember Louis, the cannery worker.
He disassociated so hard that in his mind,
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
and so he decided that he was just going to kill the real him. In his mind, he would just live on in the imagination.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
He can kind of move. Yeah, at this point, he's completely
Including the
disassociated.
wise Calico who'd insisted on advising me.
Dolly, a calico cat.
His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do.
Yeah, I see where this is going. You see where this is going? I see where this is going.
Then down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
He beheaded himself at the cannery.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Dawn. Dawn is her mother. We haven't learned about Dawn.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Oh. That kind of takes on a whole new meaning.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing.
That's
She
what they
waited
look
until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
I mean, their house. Look at their house. Like, let's be honest. This was where you lived. This is not structurally sound.
I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left.
Bag full of packing peanuts.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
She didn't take anything. She was packing. To teach and to learn, Dawn Finch. She was a teacher.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner.
And Edith lived upstairs. This was her room.
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
Edith's room. Her quill pen. Well, not a real quill pen.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Alright, go to the hallway and get my present. It's probably
the
the
power had
journal.
been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or
Ah,
that Edie had a key to it.
okay. She seems to like wearing things on her hands. Oh, I think I understand now. When she says that all Finches are buried in the library.
The thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning.
Oh,
Okay.
don't send her to a home. History of the Finches.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you. there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born.
Wow.
That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean.
I know what's about to happen. You see, when an earthquake happens, it can create tidal waves. And usually before a tidal wave hits, the tide pulls way back. So, a tidal wave is coming.
They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years.
I have a feeling that there's
God,
going to
it
be
smelled awful.
a tidal wave coming.
No, I've seen that house every day of my life.
And going out to it isn't wise. But that's
I
how
never
the game
thought
goes.
I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
In the fog?
I got turned around.
Follow the wall.
For a while, I wandered.
I thought I'd get to see the old house
I
up close.
started seeing things.
The deer, Sam and Dawn.
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed.
I am...
But when I saw
very-
them, they felt like old friends. That
guy
night,
here.
a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them.
The old house. The night she was
Things
born,
I
huh?
can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go. I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car.
I still need to go back to the library.
I never saw Great Grandma Edie again.
Oh, this is such
The
an
next morning, the
unbelievably
van came to pick her up, but
sad-
she was already gone.
Is she in the
After that, we
library?
moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it.
I've done that. Everyone's done this, right? The hand out the window thing?
A few years went by.
There's
My
something
mom
very
didn't like to
poetic
talk
about
about
this.
But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly.
Oh, man.
She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone.
The last Finch.
The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you.
How did you get pregnant?
I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this.
How did Edith get pregnant?
If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you,
Oh, what?
but now
is
I hope
going
you'll
on?
never see it. I just want to meet you
She's giving
and tell you all
birth.
these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
wait, did Edith not make it?
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
She didn't make it. I wasn't playing as her, I was playing as her son. At the start of the game. That was beautiful. Wow. I'm tearing up. That was beautiful. That was so unbelievably beautiful. What Remains of Edith Finch was her journal, her diary. Oh, wow. And all of these are children's pictures of the developers. Them in vulnerable moments. This is a very brilliantly made end credit screen, by the way. That was really an incredible story. An incredible, incredible story. I'm very thankful to have played it. Thank you, Sans, for recommending this. This was a wonderful, magical experience. And I encourage you all to experience it for yourself. It is available on Steam. Don't just watch me play it. Do it for yourself. But that's it for now. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Pogiforce. And until next time, everyone, you all take care. Catch you later.